my feet back to life, and the falling from the stars.
So Skyler, you told me about the background singers, but let's talk a little bit more about the band. Now, there are a lot of performers who, will do a pre-recorded track or, a track that is adjusted to an audience performance. There's an instrumental playing of some sort and things like that. How important was it for you to have a live band for this show?
Well, it was very important because they asked for it. The bookers wanted me with the band, and you got to give them what they want. Also, I am a band singer. Like, I sing with the band. When I was younger, I of course sang with track, and I still might sing with track. I did a show in LA where I didn't have a band. I was like, okay, I gotta do track. It's fine. Or if I do certain one-off performances or whatever. But typically, if I'm doing a show, I'm either accompanying myself on the piano. I like live music, or I'm performing with a 3-piece band. This was a 4-piece band, and needed. It's just needed. It's just a different feeling, and I learned a lot that night. And it was just great. It was a good feeling.
Give me a performance piece during the show where maybe there was, again, an audible that had to be called, some improv that had to be done, and how did the band adjust to that?
But I looked to the person I hired to get the rest of the band and the sound. I kind of hired one person to put the pieces together, and luckily all the pieces he put together, I knew. And I think I got the keyboardist. We both reached out to the keyboardist because we had one and then we didn't have one. So anyway, with the show, I looked to him to be like, what should we do now? Like, what do you think? What are you feeling? Because he's a musician and he's used to doing corporate gigs way more than I am. So leaning on people that are more experienced, very important. We were figuring out our last song. I had put on the schedule to bring in the new year with Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna. And it was going to be like an original 2-week notice going into Don't Stop the Music, where I would stop and I was going to be like, oh, we got to stop the music. It's almost time. It was like a whole thing. But before that, we were doing Love Like This by Faith Evans. And we basically skipped that song from the first set. So we were just throwing it in real quick to add, to the set. And instead of going to Don't Stop the Music and the original that goes into that, he was like, let's just roll with this. Let's keep vibing on this. And it's actually in the same key as Auld Lang Syne, which is the New Year's Eve song and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, he knows music. He knows what the keys and all of that. And it was actually fine because the crowd was really vibing to Love Like This. They were into it. They were singing with me. They were dancing with their couples. It was cute. So I'm just like, okay, let's keep this vibe. Let's keep this energy. So that was one.
You mentioned this with the background vocalist in terms of having to make adjustments to who was there. And I wanted to ask you this in culmination with the band. How did you prepare for, if at all, the possibility of somebody getting sick or not showing up, or the typical things that tend to happen whenever more than one person is required together in a place at a set time?
That is something that can happen, and it has happened. Honestly, communication. Before then, like I think the day before, we were all like chatting in the group or whatever. I made a group chat. I look, I pay attention. Who's liking it? Who's engaged in this chat? Just communication. And even like I had an instrumentalist call me and say, "Hey, I want to bring my my stuff early, and then come back." I'm like, "Cool," like just communication. So it wasn't really a concern really with that, especially with New Year's Eve. It wasn't it wasn't last minute. We knew for months about this. Of course, people get sick, but they are all professionals too. Like I knew each and every one of the people that I had there, except one person. That was the drummer that I had met for the first time at rehearsal. But got to stay ready. I don't know what would have happened if one person wasn't there. Don't know. Happy it didn't happen. Happy everybody showed up.
Okay. And then my last question on this, what do you think, you mentioned earlier about the band adding something different to a performance. What do you think are some of the key things, other than obviously the live instrumentation, that just adds to that feel when it comes to a performance?
It's an energy that a track just can't give. It's just an energy. It's nothing like live music. And I love to go see live music. It's like one of my favorite things to do. It's just nothing like it. I can't explain it. It's a visual also for the audience to be able to see those live instrumentalists play. Instead of just like having someone sing with the track, it's just more entertaining. And then you just feel it different. You feel the drum, you feel like the bass, you feel like the energy of the musicians working together to make something magical.